Good morning, everybody. It's time for another delicious edition of Texas Oatmeal. Today we're going to work on the Frontier again, just a little quick little tech tip thing that a lot of people on the Frontier forums do because if you go off-road or drive through a real deep puddle, there's a diff breather on the rear axle that gets clogged up with crud and debris over time. Now, I've only got like a little over 1,000 miles on my truck, but everybody says you should do it. It's really inexpensive, it's really easy and quick to do, so I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So this is what I'm going to need to do this modification. This is roughly about 6 feet of this fuel tubing. It's that size. Don't mind this, this is paint from me painting a car body today. But I think this is like, I don't know, 1/4 inch? No, maybe. Look at that. 6mm oil hose, it says. Huh, whatever. Okay. This is way overkill for what I'm going to do, but I had this laying around already from another project that I never used it for. Some hose clamps and this little guy. This little diff breather tube barb thing is off of a Toyota Tacoma or Tundra maybe, but it's off a Toyota product. It's actually a Toyota part number, which I'll link in the description below. This is the key to everything. This is going to replace the diff breather that's in the axle with this little barb that's going to go in there. I'm going to attach this to that with a hose clamp around it. I'm going to run all this hose clamp up through the rear tail light on the other side, just so I can get it up and away from the axle so it's off of the ground further. Now, I'm not going to do any super deep water crossings. I don't think, probably not. I'm not that hardcore of an off-roader. That's what a lot of guys do. They run it up to the back of the tail light. Now, hopefully 6 feet is actually enough to do that. A lot of people say you need 7. I guess we'll find out. We'll take it as far as we can go. And if it won't make it to the tail light, then I'll go at least just up by the spare tire or something, just to get it up off of the axle and to get rid of the stock diff breather that gets all clogged up and corroded and, you know, keeps your diff from breathing and releasing the excess pressure that's in it, which is why we do this, so that you don't blow out your axle seals down the road. So anyways, we're going to get right to it. Okay, so we're under the truck on the passenger side here, right? Driver's side, passenger side. And right here is your diff breather, this guy. So this is got a little cap on it, it's spring loaded, and it lets the pressure release through here. It's on your axle, of course, here. So we're going to take that out, and you need a 14mm wrench to do that. And you're going to replace this with that Toyota part. So it's in there pretty tight, but it's not crazy. You're not going to need some breaker bar or something, unless maybe yours is rusted and terrible from, you know, being old. My truck's only got 1,000 miles on it or so. So it's not bad. You probably could find a 14mm deep socket and get that on here, and this would go faster. But I'm already under here, so I don't really feel like crawling back out from underneath here to do that. Although this is taking forever, and it probably would make sense to do that. Ooh, I don't know if you heard that, but it had a nice little pressure release sound, so that was fun. So this guy, in theory, threads right back down in there once you figure out where the threads are and start tightening her up. So at this point, you get your tube, you find a good place to run it up through here somewhere. I've seen people run it up through the chassis itself and back all the way back here. I don't know if that makes sense or if it just makes sense to run it up along, you know, go up along this brake line, I guess is probably what this is. Yeah, brake line, and fish it up through there and zip tie it to that a little bit and keep going. So we're gonna throw the tube on that bad boy with a little hose clamp and route it up through here. Okay, so got our fuel tubing. Gonna push her on down all the way on. Run this clamp down here, and then obviously tighten that up just with a Phillips, and then start running this and zip tying it. Okay, so after you've crawled around on the floor a bunch, you need to take your tail light out, and these are 10mm bolts that are in this. So they come out real easy, and you don't have to worry about the tail light like falling out or anything at this point, because it's got like a little nipple in here that keeps it from just being completely loose. So you kind of pull out this way with it without just yanking on it like a Neanderthal. Like that. This is the little stud that's on it that goes into there. That's why it won't just fall out, because it's actually being held in place right here by this little guy right here. It goes in there. All right. So at this point, I'm just gonna kind of let this hang here. I can see that this cord that's coming up through here is going right past this part of the bed. I don't know if the fuel line will fit through here, but if it will, I might squeeze it through there. But if not, then I'm just gonna follow this cord up from where it is down underneath and come up into here. All right, so 6 feet is the perfect length. I mean, that goes up to where it's the top of this is past where the headlight would be, or the tail light would be. So you know, it's all the way up in there, as high as you need it to be. I don't see any reason to do this any other way. I did run a zip tie kind of behind this tab that the bed is all welded together. There's a little bit of gap there to run a zip tie behind it, so that I could just hold it up there so it wasn't just flapping around super loose, but it's not tight, obviously. I did run it through that channel just because it was a little cleaner, and kept this hose from just flopping around inside here too. So yeah, really simple. So I'm gonna throw the taillight back in there, and then I'll show you where the rest of this is routed underneath there. Not super amazing or anything super special, but just how I did it. Okay, so came off the tube and the little inlet, ran it up here, zip tied it around this brake line bracket, right up over the chassis, around this body, or this bed mount that's here, or whatever this is, where the exhaust hanger is coming down. I went up and around that just so that it can't come out this other way. Right, so it came up that and then comes down and under and up into the taillight assembly. And again, I just fished it between this bracket and this little outside piece where there was a gap. Not that you can see it, but there's a little bit of a gap here, and it went up in between this and that, up into the taillight. Plenty of slack. I mean, like I say, 6 foot is plenty of line. If I didn't want to come through here, it could have been even shorter, because I could have come right through this part of the tail light you can't really see, so that would have been fine too. Get that line back up on there, push it in place. It doesn't really click or anything, but you want it in place so that it holds properly. Thread these in by hand, so you're not cross-threading anything. And then cinch them down. Not super tight either, because it's just a tail light and ain't going nowhere. And that mod is done, folks.
You must be blinded by the lights. We came to shine here. Watch it look daytime in the night.